Hi, Karl again. Thanks for stopping by once again for the training that we have here at Realty Executives Tucson Elite. Today I wanted to cover a pretty important subject, a subject that seems to cause a lot of newer agents a lot of problems. Now, if you're an experienced agent and you've been around a while, you probably won't get a lot from this, but just in case, it might be a nice refresher as well. But for the newer agents, a lot of the problems that I find that when we're having some coaching issues or when we're talking about things in class is really the topic of lead generation, okay? And the thing about lead generation is there's a couple things that you need to understand. The first thing you need to understand is that without new leads, it doesn't matter how good you are at anything else. You could be a great person, you can have great backup skills, admin, you could be great at writing an ad, but if you have no lead generation skills, you got nobody to talk to, okay? Now, we've talked about some of the different ways that you can actually go ahead and make business, okay? Obviously, you've got the telephone, all right? And I recognize that for some people, the telephone is just not your thing. And I also understand that it's not your skill. You just can't get into it. Okay, that's fine. But the next other way, of course, you can do mailings, all right? Direct mailings. You can go ahead and do advertising in some fashion, like in the paper or on the web. You've got Craigslist. You've got Backpage. Other forms of online type of marketing, okay? You've got open houses, okay? You've got farming, of course, if that's what you choose to do. I think it's a pretty bad idea, but if you do it, some people do. You've got, let's see here, just listed, just solds. You have for sale by owners. You have expired listings, your center of influence, past clients, okay? Of course, sign calls and floor time, okay? So some of these are the more popular methods of getting business. Now, it's certainly not an all-inclusive list of things that you can do to get business, but these typically are some of the more major forms of finding business. Now, the thing is, you've got to decide for yourself which one of these forms are you going to use, okay? Now, think of it, when you're starting to talk about prospecting and lead generation, think about it this way, okay? Think about it like a river, all right? If you've got a one river, okay, you're only going to have a certain amount of water going to you, okay? So let's say this is your for sale by owner river, and all you ever do is work with for sale by owners. Well, that's great, but if there's no more for sale by owners or a very short market where there aren't too many, then you're going to be having problems. If you're like some others, then you might add expireds or canceled listings, okay? Maybe you might decide to go ahead and add your past clients, center of influence, all right? And maybe you might decide to add open houses. The more streams you have starting out, okay, the better off you are. And the thing about it is that when one of them dries up, okay, then you've still got other stuff that feeds you. So it's important to get really good at however you decide. First, the decision is to go ahead and decide what type of prospecting you're planning on doing. So if we're going to mark it out, we're going to say, number one, you want to go ahead and decide. Decide what type of format you're going to use, okay? Then the second part, all right, is the execution. The execution of what it is you do is to go ahead and to figure out, okay, we've decided we're going to go for sale by owners. How are we going to go get them? Well, okay, we're going to go to door to door, or we're going to mail, or we're going to go ahead and call them on the phone. However you decide to execute your plan, all right, is what you want to figure out at this stage. And then now, okay, I want you to envision it like this. You've always heard the expression filling your pipeline. And if you're brand new, you may not have heard that expression. But essentially, filling your pipeline, okay, if you could imagine this, there are so many suspects And suspects are people who, are just the general public, okay? They're guys in a neighborhood. They're people who are, just in the stores. I mean, wherever people are, they're just basic people, suspects, okay? And out of those suspects, you start to do prospecting, okay? Prospecting to determine who of those suspects are actual prospects. Prospects are people who say that they're going to buy or sell real estate, okay? Finding these people is not hard. It really isn't. If you look in the paper, you run an ad, you run in Craigslist, you look in, open houses and things of that nature, you're going to find a lot of people who say that they want to buy or sell real estate. Okay, it's just not hard to do. All right. And if you say that, I can't find anybody who wants to buy or sell real estate, then you're really not looking hard enough. Okay. If you want to find prospects, okay, look on a for sale by owner page, forsalebywowner.com or something along those lines. You're going to see people who say they want to buy or sell. Okay. More accurately, what you're saying is, okay, I can't find anybody who can sell. And that's a lead, okay? A lead is somebody who is saying, hey, I want to sell my home, or hey, I want to buy a home, or hey, I want to go ahead and do something here, and then I can do it, meaning I'm not underwater, or I have the money to go ahead and make it happen, or I'm okay to do a short sale or something along those lines, or I'm a buyer, I have been pre-qualified, I've gone to a bank, I want to move, I want to do something relatively soon. So finding a lead is a little bit more challenging, okay? Then the next step from here is pre-qualification. Pre-qualification is simply nothing more than taking the leads you have, running them through a series of questions, okay, to determine their motivation, which is always number one. If they have no motivation, then they have no, hope of selling. In this marketplace, you have to have motivation. Either you're buying, you have to have motivation. Something has to change in your life to make you want to move, okay? Then you need to find out their ability. For example, how much they owe on their home, okay? Or how much they qualify for, if they're a fry cook at McDonald's or whatever, okay? And then, of course, you want to go ahead and find out the time frame. When do they want to get this done by, okay? You can say, hey, I really want to sell my home, or I really want to buy my home, okay? I'm very motivated to do that because I'm going to be moving soon. And you look into their situation, you find out that they're free and clear on their home, which is fantastic, okay? Their time frame. You say, well, we want to do this, but we've got a 2-year span to make it happen because I don't retire for another 2 years. So then you start asking yourself, well, why is it you're talking about selling now? Well, the reason why is because, if we can sell it between now and then, great. We'll go ahead and we'll put it, we'll move into an apartment. But if we can't sell it, it's no big deal. Because of the time frame, you may decide that for yourself and your business, they may not be a pre-qualified lead. And then once you get to the pre-qualification step, the next step for you is to set an appointment. Okay, an actual appointment where you're deciding to go ahead and visit them and talk about your services to see if they're interested. Okay? And then from that appointment, then you have a contract signed. The whole thing that you need to understand as far as lead generation is concerned, okay, is simply this. The more prospects you have, the more people who say they want to raise their hand and identify themselves as somebody who wants to do something, the greater your odds are that you will have someone in that pool of people, that pipeline, if you will, that says they're going to do something, Then through effective pre-qualification, you're able to find out their motivation, their ability to do something in the time frame that they have. Then you'll be able to set the appointment to where you're able to go ahead and meet with them and talk about those issues to see if maybe you can help. And then that will lead to a contract signed. Okay? So let's take a quick look before we go ahead and quit for the day. All right? Let's take a quick look at how this might work for you. Okay? Now we already know that real estate is simply a numbers game. That's all it is. Cut and dry, it's a numbers game. Okay? So let's pretend that you're just a regular agent, that you're not training, that you're not doing anything to increase your skills, that you're just Joe Blow. Okay? There are, in a typical month's time, there are approximately 20 to 22 work days. Okay? That is Monday through Friday, 4 weeks a year, or 4 weeks a month. So 20 to 22 days a year, 20 to 22 days that are work days in a month. All right? And if you set up one appointment, just one, okay, to meet with somebody per day, let's pretend that that is a for sale by owner. Okay? And by nothing else, you call them up, you set an appointment, you go out there and you start taking a look and seeing what they have to offer, what their motivation is. Then you have about, let's say, 20 for sale by owners in a period of time. Okay? So now we've taken, remember, we've taken these people, our prospects. Okay? And remember the graph we had a little while ago says that you want to go ahead and start to pre-qualify them a little bit, right? To find leads, okay? And out of those 20 people, let's say only half of them are actually any good. Let's say half of them are anywhere in the ballpark of where you want to be, right? So now you have 10 leads, okay? And out of those 10 leads, you start pre-qualifying them even more, asking them motivation, time frame, the ability, right? And you find that out of those people, only half of those are even good, okay? Because the other 10, let's say the other 5 of those, they're not really motivated all that much as you thought they were, or maybe they don't have the ability to sell, or maybe their time frame isn't right. But only 5 people, okay, are actual good prospects that you can go ahead and make an appointment with. Okay? And out of those 5 people that you make an appointment with, let's pretend that you're awful. Okay? I mean, you're not training at all. You're just going in, you're vomiting, practically in their face when you're talking to them. And out of those people, okay, you only get 2 people to sign a contract. Okay? Now, out of those 2 people, all right, let's go ahead and pretend that your pricing is horrible. And you just overprice it, and only one of them actually sells and closes, okay? So that means in 12 months' time, okay, if you did just the minimum amount, okay, I'm not talking about going all out every day, pounding away at the streets, 3 times a day you're going on appointments. I'm just saying 1 appointment a day, okay? I'm not saying work 7 days a week. I'm just saying 5 days a week, 1 appointment per day. In 12 months' time, okay, times 1 deal closed each, okay, you have 12. You have 12 contracts, all right? And if you multiply your commissions, which right now the average sales price, the median sales price in Tucson is $120,000, okay, that's $3,600 in commission. Let's see, at $120,000, right? That's $36,000 in an additional commission for you, okay? For not doing a lot of extra work. We're just talking about 1 appointment per day. So my question to you is, if this is a numbers game, and you could find 20 for sale by owners in a month that you could actually talk to, physically go to the door, smile, pay a compliment, come through the door, pay attention to what they're having to say, see if they can do it, follow up with them. If you could do this, Can you see how you could make an extra $36,000 a year just by for sale by owners alone? Even if it was nothing else but for sale by owners. Let's say you hate for sale by owners. Let's say you want to deal with expireds. Then deal with expireds. Let's say it's just people from your past clients and center of influence. If you can find 20 people that you can talk to in a month, great. But whatever those original sources were that you started out, if you could find one person per day, you would make in Tucson $36,000 extra per year. And I don't care who you are. $36,000 is a good chunk of money. Is it a lot to live off of? No. You don't want to make the mistake of believing that this is the only income you have. It isn't. But understand that you too can go ahead and add at least $36,000 to your income by not really adding a whole lot to your business. Remember, real estate is nothing more than a business that is a numbers game. And the better you are at playing those numbers to your favor, the better off you'll be. So anyway, I hope this has been of value to you. If it has, then feel free to go ahead and like down below, because that will help us out, get the word out to other people, give us a little bit higher rankings on Google and of course YouTube. So like down below in your like box. Subscribe, comment. All of those comments and subscriptions that you give, we take into account, we read them, we see what we can do to go ahead and give you more content. Thank you very much for paying attention, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.